All right, here we go. Here we go. 7:02. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. This is my Fosse dance.
Did you watch Fosse?
I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it. I need to watch it.
Apparently one of my friend's old scene partners is
I think
playing
everyone's in it.
Everyone's in it, except us.
Oh my
What's that
god.
about?
Cast us.
I mean,
I can't dance Fosse, but you probably
that's
can.
actually the only dance I can still do.
There you go. I
The
can't
only
do
thing
it.
My body still wants to do.
I can't isolate well enough to do Fosse. Because I can't really dance at all, so isolation is really something different.
That's fair.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. We're going to do a beginner exercise, Mom, so you can do the whole thing. But you will never lift your head off the mat. You will leave your head down. My mom is working with some specific limitations.
Okay.
You're going to leave your head down. Anybody at home who's working with specific limitations as well, you can also do that. So, for example, if you have osteoarthritis, you will leave your head down. If you have any kind of neck injuries or issues, you can leave your head down. Even if your neck just starts to get sore while you're curling up,
yeah.
I suggest starting with your head down. In the vein of like, we're going to beginner today. We're really gonna, so we're very excited. We got some feedback from a new viewer on YouTube, and we're so excited. And the feedback was more beginner, please. And we are just excited that we got feedback because we didn't know what was falling and landing or not, if you were picking up what we were putting down. So if you have feedback, let us know, DM me, because we can cater things to you. So today we're going to do full beginner system, but only beginner. We'll kind of spend some more time breaking things down. We'll do a little bit of like some modification talk and things like that. For example, leaving your head down. If you're ever curling up, I don't know what populations we're dealing with, but also if you're prenatal, don't curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. You're going to leave your head down. You can do everything with your head down, unless, and this is where we're going with this. Unless you ever see any coning or bulging in your abdominals when you curl up or lift your legs, you can't really miss it. People go like, I don't know what that means. If you don't know what that means, you don't have it, okay? You will know it when you see it, and you'll be like, whoa, what's that? It'll look like a little bulge, a little dome, a little cone. That's what we call it, coning or doming, and that's what it's gonna look like. If that's occurring, keep your head down. And then most importantly, you're gonna focus on these deep, deep TVA contractions, so transversus abdominis, which is the innermost layer of your abdominals. All the way in the middle, it's an internal corset system. It's two muscles that start at the spine and wrap around to the front of the body, and they connect here in the middle. It's like the middle of your six-pack abs. It's connected by connective tissue that works like a rubber band called the linea alba, and we want that rubber band to stay shut always. And pregnancy, certainly, but also other things in life can cause that separation. So just because you've never been pregnant doesn't mean you can't have a separated rectus TVA, transversus abdominis. You'll know if you have that coning, and then that's when you know you have to lay your head down and really focus on this wrapping idea. That's where our breath comes in. I like to think, when I think about my TVA wrapping, I like literally will visualize these muscles. I think they're super, super deep in my body, and then I'll literally visualize them wrapping around, and then I imagine a couple pieces of imagery that I use. One will be like inhaling and exhaling, and as I exhale, they overlap. They don't really do that, but that's an image I use. Or like a big bear hug. If a big giant bear came around me and hugged me, he would like squeeze everything in the middle together, kind of. If you are pregnant or you've ever been pregnant, you can imagine the feeling of hugging your baby in towards you and wrapping your abdominals around your baby. Otherwise, you know, I really like that overlap thing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Imagine that they just like fold together. All right, that's a spiel. Other than casting us on Fosse and Verdun, please, we also want you to think about your TVA muscles. Those are pretty much our on-brand
It does
talking
help you
points.
isolate.
It does! You know, I realized, and I told my mom this, who's watching, when I started doing Pilates, I got more and more into it, my voice has improved, which is awesome because of my breath flow, because I now can actually control my diaphragm, whether or not I was breathing with it before, and I can manipulate it a little more, and the TVA muscles are important in that too. But when we saw last summer, we went to see Oklahoma on Broadway, the revival, and I watched all these beautiful dancers dancing, and I was like, oh, I could not be a dancer because I had no connection to my core. Like, it all clicked to me.
Well, so now you can.
Well, maybe. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, I don't think. But I think that what I realized was that, like, dancers are good because they can connect to their TVA, they can hold their abdominals, and they can connect the core, and then everything else can move freely from it, which is like the whole principle of Pilates. I didn't know that until... Hi, Sydney. We're chatting. Sorry, we're gonna work soon.
I promise we're gonna do a Mac class.
Yeah. I didn't know that until last summer that was like the key component I was missing being a dancer.
So should we go take a dance class?
We'll go take a dance class. Maybe we'll take some videos. I mean, I'll still suck, but now I know where to come from. At least.
You won't suck.
Anyway, all right, let's get ready. Let's get started. My mom said something. What did she say? She sent a request to be in my video. Oh, should we talk to my mom quickly? Cindy, I'm sorry. This is just fun. Let's talk to my mom. She's going to be like, you can dance. Waiting for mom. Hello.
Was it intentional?
I don't know. Maybe she did it accidentally. Mom, did you do it accidentally? She declined. It was an accident. Never mind. Moving on. All right. Let's do our class. Okay. So, per our feedback that we received, we are going back to basics. So, Sydney, you've been taking these classes for a couple weeks. Your challenge is that we're doing the beginner system, and you are going to go deeper into all of your work. Every time I say curl up, you're going to think shoulder blades down, but even more of a scoop. Things like that. You're going to think every time I say squeeze your legs together, you're going to think how much harder can I squeeze my legs together? You're going to ask your hip flexors to relax more, your abdominals to work more consistently throughout class. And that is your challenge. So just like dancing, going back to this idea, and singing, it always is good to go back to basics. You could be singing on stage at the Metropolitan Opera every night of the week, but you always still want to come back to class and practice all your basics. So it's the same idea as any other form of movement or expression from the body. So let's get started. Go ahead and lay down flat. I'm going to go through all of our warm-ups today. So feet flat on the mat. Good. Arms long by your side. And just before we get started, float your eyes closed for me and start to feel your back on the earth. So feel the back of your head on the mat. You'll feel space at the neck where you have a natural curvature in your spine. So there is space behind your neck. If you feel like there's not a lot of space behind your neck, I want you to just lift your chin up slightly. You should feel like you have maybe like an apple between your chin and your chest, not a mango and not a blueberry. You want like an apple size. Good. And then you feel your shoulders, the top of your shoulders, the backs of your arms, the back of your rib cage. At the bottom of your rib cage, it stops and you feel space. There's like a little bit of space, natural curvature in your low back, that's neutral pelvis. Then you feel your tailbone on the mat, probably some of your glutes, and then your feet. Good. And just take a couple breaths here, just really settling into this area, arriving here tonight, getting prepared for this movement, going super, super deep into the system and melting into the mat even more. With every exhale, I want your tailbone to just slightly anchor into the ground even more. So it gets really, really heavy on your exhale. Good. Now on your next exhale, you're going to imprint your low back on the floor, and that means you're going to tuck your pubic bone towards your face a little bit. You're in a pelvic tilt, and then you rock the hips back to neutral. And we're just going to start this pelvic tilt here. Imprint and release. Good. Inhale as you release, exhale to imprint. So just like we talked with our Pilates curl, that our Pilates curl comes from the abdominals because our TVA is wrapping so much that we must curl up. It's the same thing in the opposite direction with the pelvic tilt. So you inhale, fill the belly up with air. On the exhale, your TVA, your transversus abdominis, most inner abdominal muscles wrap so much that there's nothing that could happen but your pubic bone must create less space between your rib cage and the pubic bone. Does that make sense? So it's like wrap, 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 then you tuck. Yeah. 2 more times. And then you tuck. And 1 more. Inhale, exhale, wrap, 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 and then you have to tuck. That's it. Come back to neutral. Oh, arms up to the ceiling. Leave your arms still. Actually, take your arms onto your rib cage. Let's move them to the ceiling in a minute. Bring your hands onto your rib cage. And I want you to inhale and fill your hands up with air. So let your rib cage expand side to side, and then exhale, and then the ribs come closer together in the exhale. It's like there's a magnet right in between them, they just melt together. Good, the head stays down for this. Inhale, the ribs expand. Exhale, the ribs shut. Good. Nice. Keep going just like this. So I want the ribs to operate below your breastbone like a three-dimensional breath. I don't necessarily want your chest to be doing a lot of movement. It's gonna be from your pelvic floor all the way up to your bra line. That's where you're inhaling in, and that's what allows the ribs to expand. And then close. Good. One more like that. Inhale, expand the rib cage. Exhale, close the rib cage, and imagine you have that zipper from your pubic bone all the way up to the rib cage. And leave everything closed and shut. So your TVA is contracted now. It's going to stay contracted. Stay here and breathe into your back. You should feel the air come into the floor. Don't move your ribs, and then exhale all the air out. So the ribs stay shut as you breathe into the bottom of your body of the back. And then you exhale. A couple more breaths like that. Everything's wrapping in the abdominals. You're still controlling the TVA and the ribs. One more like that. Good, and then exhale. Now relax, release everything. Inhale. Exhale, contract the TVA, zip up the zipper in the front, bring the rib cage together, keep everything shut, float your arms up to the ceiling. Everything stays shut, and before we move your arms, you start to breathe into your rib cage behind you. Everything in the abdominal stays gathered, so find that breath we were just doing. And once you know your rib cage is not moving from this breath, but rather it's filling up your lungs behind you with air, you inhale and float the arms back, the rib cage stays shut. You exhale, press the arms right back over the shoulders, the rib cage stays shut. 5 more times. Inhale back, everything stays gathered, so you're not splaying or letting the belly expand here. You're bringing the breath into the back more. Exhale, 2 more. Inhale, really nice, Bianca. And exhale, final 1. And exhale, good. Relax, let everything go. And then bring your hands down by your sides. Lift one leg up to tabletop, bring the other leg up to tabletop. Go ahead and take your nice big deep inhale. Exhale, put on your corset. Good, keep the corset on. And then you're gonna start to breathe into that back again. So everything in the middle stays gathered. The back can move and breathe. On your inhale, once you know you've sunken into that back breath, one leg floats down. On the inhale, exhale to bring it back up. One leg floats down, it comes up. So you go into marching here. And what's happening is your abdominals are contracted the whole time. And as you lift that leg up, you contract even deeper. So you feel that kind of like pull in of the abs. Even though it's already wrapping, it can engage even more to draw that leg back up. So it's wrapped, but it engages more. It stays wrapped, it engages more. 2 more times, it stays wrapped. You feel a pull down to the ground. 1 more time. You feel a pull down to the ground. Stop. Bend your knees in, squeeze your knees into your chest, rock your hips side to side, give yourself a little rock. And then we're gonna do double leg marching here, so same thing, but with both legs. Arms long by your sides. Start with your legs in tabletop, and just let your hip flexors relax and try to kick your abdominals on instead. You're in neutral spine here. There should be space behind your low back. Inhale here, exhale, put your corset on. Zip up the front, hug the ribs together. Good, and then start to breathe into your back. Don't move your legs yet. So we're breaking this down super, super intentionally. The abdominals and the ribs stay shut and the back of the body breathes. Good, and once you know you're connected to that, you inhale and float the legs down. Nothing in your abdominals or your pelvis changes, and then you exhale, pull the belly in more to come back up with the legs. Good. Inhale, float the legs down. Exhale, pull the belly in more, get a little pulse to lift the legs up. It's already wrapped. It stays wrapped and it pulses in to come up even stronger. Good, 3 more, inhale. And exhale, you're still in neutral pelvis, so your pelvis is not tilting forward and back. Your legs are moving, your abdominals are moving them. 1 more, down and up. Beautiful, place your feet down. Let's do our Pilates curl. So now we just warmed up all this low back. We're gonna go to that wrapping to engage the lift of the head. And the fingertips will reach forward towards those heels. So let's do a little creepy crawl spider forward. So take a nice big deep inhale. On your exhale, wrap the abdominals, creepy crawl your fingers like spiders towards your heels. You must curl up when you can't go any further. You keep your shoulder blades down on the mat and stop there. Reach your fingertips even more. Curl even deeper at the breast line, but keep your rib cage or your shoulder blades down. They anchor into the mat. Good. And then roll back down, creepy crawl your fingers back, 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 and we go again. Inhale here. Exhale, walk your fingertips towards your heels, curl up. Remember, if you have any coning in the abdominals, any pain in the neck, any osteoarthritis, anything like that, you're not curling up. Come all the way down. You can go back to your marching if you want to be doing something with us now. You go back to that single leg marching, keeping the head down. Inhale here, fill the abdominals up. Exhale, zip the corset, walk the fingertips forward. Your head, neck, and shoulders peels up. It starts at the tip of your head and it peels. Good, take a nice big deep inhale here. Go even deeper into that corset and flatten the abs towards the ground. That's it, Bianca. And then roll all the way down. Let's just do one more like that. Inhale. Exhale, zip everything up in the middle of the body. Curl up from the tip of the head and walk your fingertips forward and hold here. Nice big deep inhale. Exhale, corset deeper. Flatten the abs towards the ground. And then roll all the way back down. Good. Now we're ready for our 100. Warmed up the hips, warmed up the low back, warmed up the shoulders, everything, everything, everything. Legs come into tabletop. We got it all together. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up on an exhale. So engage that rectus abdominis or TVA to roll up. Good. And then start to pump the arms up and down here. You're in tabletop to start. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And exhale, good. Staying in tabletop for the first 5 breaths today. Inhale and exhale, squeezing those inner thighs together. Inhale, making sure the knees are right over the hips, and exhale. If it's available to you, you send your legs to a high 45, or you stay in tabletop for 5 more breaths. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Constantly asking those hip flexors to relax. You may have your head, neck, and shoulders down and do this exercise that way too. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 more breaths. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Send energy out your toes across the room. Make sure your fingers are reaching nice and long like they want to creepy crawl forward. 1 more breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop pumping. Bend your knees. Lower your head. Take a breath. Rock your hips side to side. Good. Bring your hips to still in the middle. Rock your neck gently side to side. Beautiful. Send your legs long on the mat. We go for our roll up. So let's start with, Bianca, go ahead and put your hands behind your thighs and rock up. We're going to do a half roll down to start. This will be your very beginner roll up. So feet flat on the mat in front of you. Just if you're not beginner, doesn't mean you can't do a half roll up. It just means you find a deeper curve and a more engaged abdominals. Hands come behind the knees. Sitting up nice and tall out of the hips, lengthening the spine out of the hips a little bit. And then take a nice big deep inhale. On your exhale, your abdominals contract and you round out hanging off your knees. So your nice big C curve. Good. And then you're gonna walk your hands down the back of your leg, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, 1, as far as you can go, hollowing out the belly the whole time, and then you stop here, and then you climb right back up to the backs of the knees. Stay curved, keep going deeper, and then sit up nice and tall. Separate your feet just a little bit more, Bianca. So the feet in front of you, I want them to be inner hips distance apart. So not super, super close and not too wide, but about 2 fist distances between your feet. So nice big deep inhale, sitting up tall. You lengthen on the inhale. On the exhale, the abdominals draw in to curl you back. You walk the hands down the back of the leg, hand over, hand over, hand over, hand. Find the deepest curl you can have here. Hold. See if you can exhale, hollow the belly out more as you curl back up and walk back up, 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 up. Stay curled, stay curled, stay curled. Pull the belly back, 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 back. Sit nice and tall. Good. 1 more time. Inhale here, sit tall. Exhale, round, walk down the backs of the legs. Hugging the belly in, finding the deepest curl you can find here. Scooping out the abdominals the whole time. Hold for 2. Hold for 1. And then exhale, scoop more to curl up and curl, 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 curl till you're at the top and you sit tall. You stay here if you're a beginner. Otherwise, you lay down flat. We go for our full roll up. arms straight up to the ceiling, zip the legs together, flex the feet. An alternative here, if it's challenging for you to get up from this long leg and zipped position, would be to bend the legs and place the feet flat on the mat a little bit more. You're gonna find a sticky point to come up, but you can kind of work through that as you're progressing from our seated half roll down to our full roll up. Squeeze your legs together, flex your heels, peel your spine up off the mat, bone by bone, rounding that spine forward the whole time, pressing the heels into the mat, reaching up over the toes, finding a C shape in your spine, and then rolling the spine all the way down, counting every single vertebra on the way down as it touches. Good. Inhale here, roll up. So you're either here in your full roll up, or you're in your seated half roll down. No shame in that game. Roll all the way down, and every exhale as you curl up in that half roll up, you're making more space in the belly. But the same thing here. So you peel up the abdominals, scoop more. You stop here, the abdominals scoop more, you tuck your pelvis, and then that's what makes you roll down. And we have just one more. Inhale here. Exhale, roll all the way up, dive forward, take this stretch, beautiful, and then roll down bone by bone. Every single bone will touch as you go down. Good. Nice. Place your hands flat on the mat. I want you to find a good connection with the mat with the whole back of the body. Bend the right knee into the chest, so it's like you're hugging the floor with those arms and the back. Send the right leg up to the ceiling. We start our single leg stretch. So remember, in our single leg stretch, your goal is to keep your hips, so single leg circle, single leg circle. Your goal is to, it's the right exercise, I'm just saying the wrong thing. Your goal is to keep your hips totally still. If you find it challenging for that leg to be straight, you can put a small bend in the knee and keep it there the whole time. So your leg is either straight or bent, and you turn the leg from the hip out just slightly. So it's not just the toe or the ankle or the knee rotating out, it's the whole leg makes a half quarter turn. And then you take the leg across the body for half of a circle, stop in the middle, lift it right back up. Inhale, cross, down, around, and exhale to lift. Good. Bianca, bring your hands on your hips. Everyone at home, bring your hands on your hips. And just keep them there today for that tactile cue, making sure that those hips are staying super anchored into the mat. So even as that right leg reaches left, the right hip reaches right to stay down in the mat. It does not do any peeling off. One more time in this direction, and then we reverse straight down, across, and up. Remember, inhale down, exhale to lift, and you can keep that slight bend in your knee if you feel that hip flexor gripping. That's a really great option. So we turn the hip flexor off, we turn the abdominals on. And this whole time you're scooping the abdominals or thinking of flattening out the abdominals. Bianca's had enough, we go to the other side. Left leg comes in and goes straight up to the ceiling. Either turn the leg out with a bent knee or the straight leg. Start across the body to the right, down and around, exhale to lift. Inhale, squeeze the inner thigh across, exhale to lift. Good. 4 more, inhale and lift. You have that tactile cue going on in those hips. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Good. 1 more, and then you reverse, straight down, across, and up. Bianca's got her knee bent. I think it looks great. I'm thinking it's because of her hip. She doesn't want her hip to grip, right? Yep. So that's perfect. If you feel like that hip is hanging on for dear life, you just bend that knee just slightly. 1 more here. Inhale, across, down, around, and up. Bend the knee in, send the leg long, take a breath. Beautiful. Place your hands behind your thighs and rock up to a seated position. We set up for rolling like a ball. Scoot your butt towards the edge of the mat, and you have your feet in Pilates stance. So Pilates stance is not a big first wide position. That's a dancer's first, super wide. And obviously it's not all of your feet parallel squeezed together. It's just about a fist or 2 between your feet. And the way you're thinking about it is if you saw a skeleton hanging in a doctor's office, those skeleton feet hang off and they just kind of hang off at like a slight angle. That's the anatomical disposition of the body, which is why we do most things in Pilates in that spot, because it's the way our feet naturally want to hang. A small turnout, but not a super wide one. And then take your hands, wrap them around your knees, and place your hands on your shins, all 10 fingers facing each other. And before we move at all, you're gonna round your spine back, so hang off, just like you were in your half roll down position, right? Find yourself right behind your sits bones here, and then hover your feet up off the mat. If you are a beginner, you can stay here for the entire exercise and you're getting that work done the whole time you're thinking about scoop. Every exhale, you wrap and scoop deeper. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, you take a nice big deep inhale, you roll back onto the shoulder blades, stop at the shoulder blades, exhale, come up, stop right behind the sits bones. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, roll up, stop right at the sits bone. So really try to go not quite as far, Bianca. Stop there and come up. That's it. That was so good. So you have to use a little bit more control in those abs to just go to the shoulder blades, stop, and propel yourself right back up from the belly. Good. 2 more. 1 more. Come up and stop and hold. Take 3 breaths here, just holding in this space. See how deep you can hollow out those abdominals. Every time you exhale, you scoop deeper. 1 more time. Beautiful. Lower the feet down, rock forward, sit up nice and tall. So spine stretch, or rolling like a ball, is like described as a massage for the spine. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, what other exercise system do you do that's like, and this is a massage so you can feel good? That's why I love Pilates. Lay down flat on the mat. And then we're gonna go right into our ab series here. So if you're doing the ab series, you have any orthopedic restrictions, you're keeping that head down. Otherwise, you're gonna be up in your Pilates curl as best as you can. Remember, the Pilates curl comes from the abdominals, not the head, neck, and shoulders. So if the head, neck, and shoulders turn on and they feel like they're holding you up like really, really, white knuckling to stay up, you put that down and then you ask those abs to re-engage and you come right back into it until you start to feel any fatigue, you come down. That's how you train yourself to get better at your Pilates curl and to feel that connection and make it stronger. Bend your knees into your chest. Place both hands on your right knee. Take the right hand down to the right ankle, but keep the left hand on the right knee. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Good. Send your left leg long and switch arms and legs at the same time. And switch and switch. You're using those hands to guide your knees in narrow toward your shoulders. So everything's staying in your Pilates box here. Shoulders to shoulders, hips to hips. Nothing, your knees are not coming outside of the frame of your body. You have 4 and 4. Squeezing your inner thighs together, sending your legs out long with intention. You have 1 and 1. Hug your knees in, lower your head down, rock your neck or hips or both, side to side. Whichever one you feel you need a little bit more like release in. Take a nice big deep inhale. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up as you wrap those abdominals. We're gonna break down double leg stretch here. So arms come back overhead, legs stay still. Circle your arms around, grab your knees. Inhale, the arms go straight back. Exhale, circle them around, grab your knees. 2 more times, arms go back. Exhale to circle. Final one, reach. Exhale to circle. Lower your head, neck, and shoulders down. I just wanna take a moment to mention, what was that like in our warm-up? Our rib cage breathing. So everything stays in, but our arms are able to move freely. Kind of like the dancers in Oklahoma. Oh my God, everything comes together.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle. If you missed the first 4 minutes of us talking, you have no idea what we're talking about.
Watch the YouTube video later.
Yeah, YouTube later. Inhale here, exhale, curl up. Use those abdominals. Okay, you're gonna send the legs long only. Legs go long. Knees drag back in. Your hands could be hovering by your hips like you're 100. Inhale the legs long, exhale the legs in. They could alternately be behind your head if you want a little support there. That's an option too. But the rib cage stays shut, just like our rib cage breathing. 1 more out and in just with the legs. Hug the knees in. Lower the head, neck, and shoulders down. Take a breath. Good. We're gonna put these 2 actions together for our full double leg stretch. Inhale, on your exhale, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. The arms and legs go out. Exhale, bring everything in, hug the knees towards your chest. Inhale, lengthen the arms and legs. Exhale, circle the arms, grab the legs. Inhale, long. Exhale, in. 2 more times, you lengthen. And you use the abs to draw everything in. 1 more time, out. And in, lower your head, neck, and shoulders down. Take a breath. All right, we set up for our scissor. So take a nice big deep inhale. Hug your knees into your chest first, then you curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Send both legs straight up to the ceiling. Bring both hands behind the right thigh, calf, or ankle, whatever you're able to reach. And then lower the left leg halfway down and stop. And then the left leg till it stays super, super still. And you're gonna tug that right leg towards your face twice gently. Tug, tug, and switch legs. Tug, tug, and switch legs. Today, I really want you to focus on where is the left or right leg going when it's going down. Make sure you choose a point that's like in the middle and you stop. I don't want it to come super low today. I want it to be halfway, and I want you to be very, very intentional about that. And then when you pulse, pulse, it's not just tugging from the arms, it's hugging from the abs. So that little pulse, pulse in the belly we were talking about at the beginning of class. Good. 1 more on each side. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Hug your knees in. Lower your head, neck, and shoulders down. So a good alternative to scissors might be to go back to that marching if you're finding scissors challenging. Alternatively, you bring your hands behind your thigh. You can have a slight bend in your knee as long as you need to. As long as you're curling up from those abs, that's what matters. The abs are working, or your head, neck, and shoulders are down and you're just focusing on a nice big stretch on the back of the hamstring. Even if the leg just goes straight up to the ceiling, totally fine. Take a nice big deep inhale. Exhale, curl all the way up. Put your hands behind your head or behind your low back if you have any back issues. You make a diamond shape and bring it behind your spine. Send both legs straight up to the ceiling. Lower your legs halfway down. Exhale to lift your legs all the way up. You may do this with your head, neck, and shoulders down if you have any orthopedic restrictions. And on this exercise, remember, your booty does not lift up in the air as your legs go high. That's a different exercise. Your butt anchors down into the mat as your legs go high. That's your opposition. Tailbone down, feet high. 2 more. Inhale and exhale, lift. 1 more time. Halfway down, all the way up. Bend your knees, lower your head. Rock your hips side to side or your neck side to side or both. Take what you need here. We have 1 more exercise in our ab series. Hooray. Take your hands, place them behind your head. Take a nice big deep inhale. On your exhale, use your abdominals to wrap and then you curl. Send your right leg long, twist your right armpit to your left knee. You're rotating in the center of the body and you switch. And you switch, and you switch, and you switch. Keep going. If you're not curling your head, neck, and shoulders up, you are literally keeping your head, neck, and shoulders down, and your legs are just pedaling here. They're going 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. So it's kind of like your single leg stretch. You're going back to that. Your abs are still working as long as you're in neutral pelvis. So you have space behind your back for that blueberry. 1 more on each side. Even yourself out, and then come back to center. Lower your head, neck, and shoulders down. Take a breath. Rock your neck side to side. Rock your hips side to side. I like to do the little egg beater with your knees. So hands on top of knees, and you're gonna make circles with your hands. Let those femur bones just roll around in the hip joint. Really, really, really ask those hip flexors to turn off and relax. You definitely don't need them for a moment right now. And then reverse directions of that circle if you haven't already. Good. And then you bring your hands behind your thighs and you rock up to a seated position. We set up for a spine stretch forward. So scoot your booty back. Send your legs straight on the mat, or you have a small bend in your knees or a big bend in your knees. Number 1 thing is that you're sitting up very, very tall. So if that helps you achieve it by bending your knees, do that. Arms go straight in front of you. You imagine you're up against a wall. Your head and all the way down to your tailbone are on the wall. And then I want you to grow up the wall, sit tall, and then peel just your head, neck, and shoulders off the wall. Keep your shoulder blades on the wall. Round your spine and scoop out your belly. And then peel all the way back up to sit tall, 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 tall on the wall. So grow up the wall. And then dive forward, belly scoops in, and you keep the shoulder blades on. Everything below the shoulder blades is on the wall, and then rebuild the spine up all the way tall. Sit tall, 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 tall. And then dive forward. Beautiful. Take an extra breath here. Inhale. And exhale. You're in the stretch. You're finding deeper abs. Inhale. On your next exhale, rebuild your spine up the wall. And then stop. Open your arms slightly. Again, you may have a bend in your knee if you need for saw. Twist your torso to the right. Face the wall towards your right. Dive forward, so off your pinky toe with your pinky finger, flip the back palm up, gaze at it. You're finding a rotation in the ribs here. The left hip bone is back. It's not peeling forward, so going back to that idea of our single leg circle. Rebuild the spine up, facing the right side, twist your torso all the way to the left side, dive forward, same thing. Pinky finger saws off pinky toe, you flip the back palm, you gaze at it, right hip stays back. Rebuild the spine facing the left side, twist to the right. Let's go super slow today. So everything's gonna be slow and controlled. I want you to do this for precision. So I want you to literally feel every single bone rolling up through the spine to roll up, and every single bone rolling down to go down, finding a deep scoop in the abdominals here. So we just did our spine stretch forward where we lift and scoop. It's the same idea here. You're not just folding forward and collapsing your ribs and your chest on your leg. You're lifting and scooping forward the whole time in each direction like a candy cane. Do 1 more time to each side, even it out. See if you can find even more precision here for this final repetition. So slow and controlled contrology. That's what it's all about. Final one, dive and stretch. Beautiful, come up and sit nice and tall. Zip the legs together, turn on over to your belly. We set up for swan. Hands right under the forehead. Stack them one on top of the other, bring the hands on the forehead. I like to internally rotate my toes to face each other to relax my glutes. So my glutes should not turn on at all in this exercise. Instead, my abdominals work. First, you pull your belly button to your spine. While you do that, you may notice this sensation that the pubic bone and the hip bones seem to press down into the mat. That would be good, but don't engage your glutes. So you stop where the abdominals are the only thing working. Next, your abdominals lift, your shoulder blades then draw down your back, and then you lift the hands and the head up. Keep the hands glued to the head and find length in the body. So focus on length, not height, and then more length as you come down. Belly goes first, shoulder blades go second, head, neck, and chest come last. You lift from the back muscles, and then you lengthen, 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 lengthen all the way down. One more time, just like that. Belly first, shoulder blades next. Good, Bianca. Lift the head, keep those glutes relaxed. Lengthen and lower all the way down. Now you may stay here if this feels super nice to you, or you can take your hands right underneath your shoulders, feet, hands, palms flat on the mat. And we're just gonna do 2 with our hands on the mat. You're not pressing into the mat, it's a light touch. Pull the belly in, same steps. Abdominals engage, shoulders draw down your back, elbows are facing up to the ceiling, and then you lift the head, neck, and chest using your back muscles, not pressing into your hands. And then you lengthen as you come all the way down. Good. We go again, leg grip on the mat, abdominals engage, shoulders draw down the spine, chest lifts up from the back. Lengthen, lower all the way down. Good, Bianca. One more time. I want you to think you keep the front 2 ribs on the mat and you're making a reverse Pilates curl. So you're curling backwards up over your shoulder blades, but most of the front of your body is staying down and the abdominals are engaged. And then you lengthen and lower all the way down. Now we do just 1 without hands. So the hands just float up 1 inch off the mat, but they stay by your sides. Inhale here, same steps, abdominals, shoulder blades, back lifts you up, no hands. Hold and hold and hold. You're growing the whole time, and then you lengthen the spine and lower all the way down. Beautiful. Bring your legs together, prop yourself up on your forearms for single leg kicks. Squeeze those legs together. You're gonna be up on your forearms, making 2 fists. Bring your knuckles together like you're wearing rings and they're touching. It should feel like a stretch across your wrists. Press up into the mat. So see how Bianca's chest is lifted tall and proud. Take a nice big deep breath and then exhale, turn your abdominals on. So that same wrap we do when we're laying on our back. Keep it engaged. Zip your legs together, make your knees touch. Kick your butt with your heel twice. Kick, kick on one side and switch. Kick, kick on the other side and switch. Kick, kick, and kick, kick, and kick, kick, and kick, kick. You keep going, and you're trying to eliminate as much rocking as you possibly can. So trying to make less rocking forward and back by engaging those abdominals, like you're pulling that belly up off a little bit of fire that's coming from the ground below you. And kick, kick, switch, and kick, kick, switch. You have 2, and 2. Final 1, and 1. Good. Lower your feet down, stop. Sit back onto your heels, and take a breath. Beautiful. Next, we do our side kicks. So lie down on your side, facing, I don't care which way. What are you on? You're on your left. Let's be on the left side. I'm like, I can't see you. I don't know where you are. Okay, so your back is lined up against the back edge of the mat. Shoulders stacked, hips stacked, shoulders and hips in one long straight line. Bottom hand under the head, top hand on the mat in front of you. Your abdominals are wrapping and pulling away from that top hand. Flex both feet, lengthen the top leg nice and long. And we start with our kick front and back. So, bring the feet forward just slightly so that they're on a little kickstand shape. So your heels are kind of aiming towards the front edge of that mat while your back is in line with the back edge of the mat. Lift the top leg up to hip height. It stops at hip height. Use an energy at that heel, it's flexed. Sweep the leg forward towards your face. Pulse it towards your face twice. Kick, kick, point the toe, sweep back once. Flex, kick, kick, point, sweep once. You flex and stretch the back of the leg, and you point and stretch the front of the leg. You're imagining that there is a axis going through your hips. It cannot rotate or move within that axis, so it stays nice and totally still. So as you come forward, the hips don't come forward. As you go back, the hip doesn't go back. Everything stays stacked. You have 1 more here. Flex, kick, kick, point and sweep. Lower the top leg down. onto the bottom leg, flex the heel, lift it up to hip height only, point the toe there, lower it down, squeeze the inner thighs. Flex, lift to hip height, point, squeeze the inner thighs. Flex to hip height, point, squeeze the inner thighs, and then we reverse. Point, lift to hip height, flex, squeeze the inner thighs. Point, lift to hip height, flex, squeeze the inner thighs. One more, point, lift, like you're pushing up through honey, and then you flex, you're dragging down through the honey. Bring the leg up to hip height with your heel flexed. Make 5 circles in one direction. It's moving through honey. It's challenging. You add your own resistance, and you're really focusing on carving out the back of that circle where the butt and the thigh meet, keeping the hip totally still. When you've done 5, you point the toe and reverse the direction for 5 and 4. It moves slowly with control. And 2 and 1. Lower the leg down, and then we go straight to the other side. We'll do a stretch afterwards, after both. So you lie on the right side, stack yourself up the same way. Hips stacked, shoulders stacked, hips and shoulders in line with each other. Feet come forward on the mat, so you're in a kickstand shape. Bottom hand under the head, top hand on the mat, pulling the abdominals away from the top hand. Flex the feet. Send energy out that top foot as you lift it up to hip height. You sweep it forward twice, stretch the back of the leg, kick, kick, point, sweep, back, stretch the front of the leg. Flex, kick, kick, back, stretches, point, and sweep, back, front stretches. Good. And you go back and forth here, trying to keep those hips totally still. Hip stability here is the name of the game. It should be working the hips and the glutes and the abdominals from stability. 3 and 2. The abs are engaged the whole time. And you have 1 more. Good, and then bring that leg back onto the other leg, lower it down, flex the foot, lift it up to hip height only, pushing up through honey, point and lower it down, squeeze the inner thighs. So you're adding a little bit of resistance to lift, adding a little bit of resistance to lower. One more time, just like that, you lift, and then you lower, and then we reverse. Point to lift, flex to lower, squeeze the inner thighs, point to lift, flex to lower, squeeze the inner thighs, and one more time, you point up, you flex down, pull the abdominals in again, so re-engage those abs, check in with yourself. Lift the legs up to hip height, top leg up to hip height, and start your circle here. 5 in one direction with a flexed heel. Slow and controlled, moving through honey. That's it, nice. And then after your 5 with your flexed heel, you point and you reverse for 5 and 4 and 3. Abs are engaged, lips are relaxed. Your face is relaxed. Nothing's happening. We're not bringing all that tension to our face. We're bringing it into our abs. Lower the leg down. Good. Turn onto your back. We take a quick figure 4 stretch. Right leg over left. Stretch. Who's feeling like they're going deeper into their practice today, even though we're doing beginner? Bianca and everybody at home. Yeah. We just have to like bring our mind to it, right? To ask ourselves to go a little bit deeper. That's what's so cool about literally everything we do in life. The more intentional we are about everything, the more we can accomplish in maybe a shorter period of time even. And then switch legs. And that's another principle of Pilates that I love, which is the concentration part. That kind of cues into that mind-body connection. And if I can memorize how I focus on my body here in Pilates, then I know I can apply that to other areas of my life too. Presence, awareness, being focused on my body, of my experience of the now, etc. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. All right, let's do our teaser 1. So, arms straight up to the ceiling, knees bent into your chest, exactly where Bianca is. So you're unfolding those legs if you didn't already. And our teaser 1 starts with our legs bent into our chest. You send the legs out to 45, or you keep them at tabletop. Let's do the first at tabletop, so we all know this is our option. Tabletop the legs, a true tabletop, 90 degree bend. Take a nice big deep inhale. On your exhale, curl up so that you're hovering right behind your sit bones. Come all the way up. But keep those legs bent. Yeah.
Harder.
You think that's harder? It's just because you're not used to it.
Maybe.
But really, this is like a modification to keep the legs in tabletop. Bianca's just not used to it. Open your pecs a little bit more, Bianca. Lift your chin slightly. Good. And then melt your spine down, keeping your legs in tabletop the whole time when your shoulders touch. Bend your knees into your chest even more. So that's your modification. If you don't feel like you can straighten your legs, you stay in that tabletop the whole time. Otherwise, we straighten our legs this time. Arms go straight up to the ceiling. Nothing super fancy here today, just a solid teaser 1. Send the legs out to a high 45 or leave them at tabletop, whichever is best for you. Take a nice big deep inhale. You go deep into those abs to peel up like your roll up, and you end in your teaser reaching for your toes. Your chest is tall and proud. You're reaching those hands forward towards the toes. Your belly is scooping. You're sitting behind your sits bones, so you're tucking and the abs are engaged super, super much. And then you lower down from the middle of the rib cage. So think that I'm gonna punch you in the stomach, and that's how you melt down bone by bone. When your shoulders touch, bend your knees. Take a breath. Beautiful. We're gonna do that one more time today. Take a nice big deep inhale, and then send your legs to 45, or come to tabletop with them, either one. Inhale here, engage those abs and peel up like your roll up. And then stop right behind your sits bones. Chest is tall and proud, but the rib cage is shut, and the abdominals are working. The pelvis is tucking. Everything is right here in the core. The chin is lifted. You have that apple space. Reaching for those toes. On your next exhale, it's like I'm punching you in the belly, which causes you to lean back with the middle of the back, still reaching for the toes the whole time. When the shoulders touch, bend the knees and take a breath. Beautiful. Take your hands, place them behind your thighs, rock up to sit. We're nearing the end. So we set up for seal. Seal is similar to rolling like a ball, but now we're manipulating the time that we're forward and the time that we're back. So heels together, toes apart in Pilates stance. That just about 1 to 1.5 fist distance of space between your feet. Hands come together like this, palms together. Dive your hands through your legs, wrap them around the outside of your ankles. You get another wrist stretch here. Round your spine out, then lift your heels up, just like rolling like a ball. Again, if rolling like a ball, hovering here and holding was enough for you, you do that here. Also, if the wrap, like rolling like a ball, was enough and this is too much for your wrist, you go back to the regular wrap where you just hug around your knees and hold on to the front of your legs. Stay here if you need to. Otherwise, we go click, click, click with the heels, 3 clicks. Round back to the tips of our shoulder blades, only click, click, click. Come up and hover right behind the sits bones and click, click, click. Rock back when you're at your shoulder blades, you click, 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 and you come up and click, 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 and rock back and click, click, click. Your abs are your gas, your abs are your brake. Try to only come to the tips of the shoulder blades, not onto the shoulders or the neck. Good, one more time, back. Click, 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 final time, up, click, click, click. Good, hold here. Take 3 breaths, just like we did with rolling like a ball. Hollowing out that spine more, keeping those heels close to your butt as best as you can. On your last exhale, you lower the feet down, unwrap the hands. Can you cross your legs here and come up to stand without using your hands? So a reverse like
this?
Yeah, or like whatever. Can we just come up to stand without using our hands? Or yeah, that's it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That was it. You just cross your legs and come up without using your hands. Use your core. Arms up to the ceiling. We set up for our front support. Hands up to the ceiling. Stand up nice and tall. Drop those shoulders down your back. Inhale. On your exhale, melt your spine down bone by bone and find your hands on the mat. We're going into our planks here. Walk your hands out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find your hands right underneath your shoulders. Your hips are in line with your spine. You're in a plank position. If this is too much for you, you lower your knees down and you do a plank with your knees on the ground, or you bring your forearms down, whichever works for you. And you breathe. If you're in this nice long spine, your pelvis is tucking. You're pressing your hands away from the ground actively. Your head is right in line with your spine. Pike your hips up to the ceiling and walk your hands back to your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hang here for 1 breath. Bend your knees slightly, tuck your pelvis, and roll up. Arms come straight up to the ceiling. Beautiful. Melt your spine down. When your hands touch the mat, you walk out to your high plank position. Bianca, when you get in your high plank position here on this next one, will you come into like a supported plank on your knees just so people can see what that would look like? If this full high plank is too much, you come right down to your knees. Your toes go up to the sky. Bring your hips forward even slightly more. There you go. So your abs are still engaged. Shoulders are still right over your wrists. No crossing of the ankles. We don't want to do anything funky with the ankles. They're just right beside you. And you're holding here. And guess what? It's still challenging. Bianca, press up into your serratus a little bit more. There you go. So you spread the shoulder blades apart behind you so that you're supported right here in the middle of the back. Good. And then come up into your down dog safely. And then walk your hands back to your feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tuck your pelvis, bend your knees slightly, and roll all the way up. Arms up to the ceiling. Good, and we have 1 more. Tuck your chin, roll down. So the goal is to go deeper into our front support too. So walk your hands out. See how much more on every exhale you can wrap and engage those abdominals. Maybe think about making even less space. So we talk about east to west a lot. Think east to west closes, but see if you can even on your exhale, just by contracting the abdominals a little bit more, make less space between your pubic bone and your rib cage as well. And take 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Keep pressing into those hands. Bring the sockets of the elbows towards each other. We're not hanging out in the elbow joints. Sink your hips back into your down dog. Take a stretch here. All 5 fingers, or all 10 fingers rather, are pressing into the mat, and you feel that stretch across the back of your shoulders if you can get that stretch here. Take another breath, and then walk your hands back to your feet in 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Hold. Good, and just hang here for a moment. Relax your head, relax your shoulders, let them just hang. Let the arms just hang out of the shoulder sockets a little bit. Yeah, if you wanna put your hands like on your elbows and get that little like traction happening, take a couple breaths. Think about relaxing your hips. Think about relaxing your low back. So you're really just kind of folding forward here. It should feel good. Good, and then if your hands are hugging your elbows, let go of them, and then bend your knees slightly, tuck your pelvis, roll all the way up to the top, bone by bone, standing up nice and tall. Take the arms up to the ceiling, shrug the shoulders up, draw the shoulders down, press the arms down to the side, grow half an inch taller, and you're all done for the night.
Yay!
Woo! Amazing job, guys!
So good.
Bianca, I mean the guys, I mean you guys too, so thank you so much for tuning in.